case of a nuclear explosion.
This is a Fourth Rider news break.
Tesla's post-election stock gains are all gone. Tesla's Trump bump has officially run out of gas. Shares of Elon Musk's electric vehicle company finished their weeks-long tumble to pre-election day levels yesterday, deleting over $700 billion in value that Tesla added last November. The stock peaked at $1.5 trillion last December 17th amid post-election optimism that President Trump's deregulatory policies are favorable to big businesses and Elon Musk's agendas.
Canada's central banker turned Prime Minister Mark Carney is inheriting an economic hailstorm brought on by US tariffs. Who was Mark Carney? Carney ran the Bank of Canada from 2008 to 2013. He was instrumental in the stabilization of Canada's economy during the aftermath of the Great Financial Crisis. In 2013, he was hired by the Bank of England to navigate the UK through Brexit. He was the first non-Brit to hold the position since the bank's founding in 1694. Carney came out swinging. In his acceptance speech, he vowed to keep reciprocal tariffs on US goods until the US starts to show some respect.
Recently, Mexico transferred 29 drug cartel suspects to US custody. The transfer comes as President Trump has amplified threats of tariffs and military action against Mexico. President Trump's threats of tariffs and military action against Mexico have forced a crackdown on border security and drug trafficking. Last January, Trump signed an executive order labeling 6 Mexican cartels foreign terrorist organizations, which means prosecutors could seek terrorism charges and the death penalty against the cartels.
Ukraine says it is open to a 30-day ceasefire as U.S. resumes military aid and intelligence sharing. The Trump administration reinstated military aid and intelligence sharing for Ukraine, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky signaled acceptance of a 30-day ceasefire in the war with Russia, pending Putin's agreement, according to American and Ukrainian officials following talks held in Saudi Arabia. Secretary of State Marco Rubio stated, "Ukraine is ready to stop shooting and start talking. And now it'll be up to Russia." According to sources, the negotiations covered substantive details on how the war is going to end, including long-term security guarantees.
The EU vows a $5 billion investment in South Africa as the tariffs war with Trump escalates. Von der Leyen, European Commission President, stated that Europe was looking to increase its trade relationship with South Africa, the EU's largest trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa. Both the EU and South Africa have already felt the impact of Trump's second term. South Africa has been targeted for sanctions by the Trump administration over domestic and foreign policies that are perceived as anti-American, which is in reference to South Africa launching a case at the UN court, accusing the US and Israel of genocide in the war in Gaza, and South Africa's relationships with China and Iran. Trump issued an executive order last month eliminating all US funding to South Africa, citing human rights violations against a white minority group in the country, and South Africa's support of Palestinian militant group Hamas and Iran. US President Donald Trump in a social media post wrote that he would impose a 200% tariff on European wine, champagne and spirits in a trade war with the EU.
The EU vows retaliatory tariffs targeting U.S. goods starting with bourbon, jeans, peanut butter, and motorcycles. U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminum will be answered with tough countermeasures from the 27-nation bloc, and officials have said they would target Republican states and traditionally strong U.S. exports. The EU Commission negotiates trade relations on behalf of the bloc. EU Commission Vice President Maros Sefcovic states that the tariffs are economically counterproductive because of the deeply integrated production chains established through extensive transatlantic trade and investment relationships. Germany is the EU's largest economy. Germany's Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, told Parliament that the US leaves no alternative and the European Union will react united. Scholz also stated trade wars always cost both sides.
Wall Street wonders how much pain Trump's policies will inflict on the economy. The U.S. stock market sell-off cut deeper into the market as the S&P 500 dropped 2.7%, making it close to 9% below its all-time high, which was set last month. At one point, the S&P 500 was down 3.6% and was on track for its worst day since 2022. That's when the highest inflation in generations appeared on the horizon, threatening budgets and raising recession concerns. Trump wants to bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States, among other reasons he's given for tariffs. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent states the economy may go through a detox period as they cut America's addiction to government spending. Trump's goal is to limit federal spending, starting with cutting the federal workforce and increasing deportations, which could hinder the job market. The U.S. job market is still showing stable hiring, but economists are downgrading forecasts in anticipation of how the economy will perform this year.
Judge orders Trump to reinstate probationary workers terminated in mass firing fringe. Today, U.S. District Judge William Alsup in San Francisco ordered Trump's administration to rehire thousands of probationary workers terminated in mass firings across the Departments of Veterans Affairs, Agriculture, Defense, Energy, the Interior, and the Treasury. U.S. District Judge William Alsup stated that the terminations by the Office of Personnel Management and its acting director, Charles Ezell, lacked the authority to do so. District Judge Alsup said the Trump administration tried to circumvent protections for federal workers by falsely claiming the reason for their termination was their performance. It is a sad day when our government would fire some good employee and say it was based on performance when they know good and well that's a lie, Alsup said.
This is a forthright news break.